Hello, 7th graders. Today we are going to talk about our counter-argument paragraph. When you write an academic essay, you make an argument. That's what we've been doing. You propose a thesis or a claim and offer some reasoning using evidence that suggests why that thesis or claim is true. When you counter-argue, you consider a possible argument against your thesis or some aspect of your reasoning. You think about it from the other point of view. So if you are saying that the government should impose regulations on pop, the counter-argument is that they should not. If you are saying that students should not spend more time in school, the counter-argument would be that students should, etc. The turn against. Counter-argument in an essay has two stages. First, you turn against your own argument to challenge it, and then you turn back to reaffirm it. First, you imagine a skeptical reader or cite an actual source who might resist your argument by pointing it out. So one way that we do this is by maybe starting your counter-argument paragraph with a phrase like, some people might say, or some believe, or some argue, and then you go ahead and say something that is actually against what you've been arguing for the whole essay so far. But then you're going to turn back around and say, but actually those people are wrong. A problem with your demonstration. So you are pointing out a problem with your demonstration, that a different conclusion could be drawn from the same facts, a key assumption is unwarranted, a key term is used unfairly, certain evidence is ignored or played down, one or more disadvantages or practical drawbacks to what you propose, an alternative explanation or proposal that makes more sense. Okay? All right, so step one, we're going to select a piece of evidence from the opposing side of the argument, but this has to be one that you can poke holes in. So it's not a very strong piece of evidence from the other side. Then, step two, you're going to write it out. So make it clear to the reader that this opinion is not yours, but what the other side says about the topic. So we're going to use phrases like this. Some people believe, others say, those who believe, think, feel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's an example for you. 3, once you have made it clear that it is not your opinion, you're going to give the evidence that the other side believes. So what is something that those other people would agree with that's on the other side of your argument? Now you are going to show how this evidence is not correct, okay? So then we move into step 4, use a transition to show contrast, however, although, but, regardless, on the other hand, in contrast. And you explain why the beliefs held by the others are not accurate or logical. Poke holes in the evidence that was given. And then destroy their claim. And the last part is the conclusion sentence to restate your main point. So here's an example. Some may argue that students lack the responsibility to have drinks in class. That's the first part. This, however, is not true. Students drink soda in the cafeteria all the time and rarely there is a spill. Also, there could be a compromise where students only bring in clear liquids. This would eliminate any stains if there was a spill. A final reason that there could be this rule that all drinks have to have twist or snap-on lids. These reasons eliminate the concern of lack of responsibility. Okay? So they started off saying that some argue that students lack responsibility, and then they went ahead and poke holes in that argument. Let's take a look at our mentor text example. So we are going back to our red light camera example here. And if you recall, we said our thesis, our claim, was that installing red light cameras to impose fines for reckless drivers is an effective way to save lives. This is the pro side of that argument. Previously, we had gone through and looked at our body paragraphs. This was the 2 paragraphs that were arguing why my claim that these red light cameras will save lives and reduce accidents, why that is correct. So I gave my evidence, some detail or explanation, evidence detail about how it would reduce accidents. And then in the second one, it talked about how it would motivate drivers. So evidence, reason, evidence, reasoning. This here, after your body paragraphs, is going to be the counterclaim paragraph. So let's take a look at this structure that I have here on the side. So first, you're going to start off with your counterclaim. Write a sentence that states the opposing viewpoint. And remember, you're going to use those phrases like some people believe, others may think. Then you're going to add an additional detail that kind of helps describe that counterclaim. Then attack. Explain why that counterclaim is wrong. And you're going to use another transition word like however, on the other hand. And then finally, a closing. Add a strong closing sentence that strongly shows your side as the more logical argument. So let's go ahead and look at this one. And let's go ahead and highlight. So we're hoping to start with our counterclaim sentence. Some drivers, notice how they started here. Some drivers, that's an excellent way to start. Some drivers feel that the red light cameras are just another way that their city is trying to make money off of its citizens. Okay, that's what the other side believes. And I know that's the other side because it says some drivers. Okay, I'm going to give an additional detail here. They argue that the government is always just looking for new ways to generate income, and the cameras make it easy for them to catch people. Now, look at this transition word here. However. Now I'm going to go into my attack, my rebuttal, and explain why that, by saying that, towns are just trying to catch people. I'm going to explain why that's wrong. However, if accidents are being reduced and lives are being saved, these cameras can hardly be looked at as simply a money-making scheme. So I proved them wrong. I said, yeah, okay, you're really worried about the city making money, but they save lives, so it is still important. And then finally, I have my closing sentence. So I'm going to show my side as more logical. It is obvious that people's safety is the main reason the red light cameras have been installed. Okay. So this is going to be the structure of our counterclaim paragraph. So remember, these two body paragraphs were your position. So I said red light cameras were good. So I have two paragraphs saying red light cameras are good. This one starts off by saying some drivers think these cameras are bad. However, and then I prove them wrong. So that is what you are going to be doing today, is writing your counterclaim and rebuttal paragraph.